Well, good afternoon, everyone. Just a really quick shout out. Just had a very unpleasant experience. Hello, truck. So I must have missed an exit ramp or an entrance ramp or something because Maps was trying to route me around a road closure just outside of Indianapolis, and I screwed up somehow and ended up in downtown Indianapolis during rush hour. That is an experience I could do just as well without, probably for the rest of my natural life. I don't like cities. I mean, to me, even Burlington is a big city. So, ask my kids, they'll be like, Mom, let's go to Church Street, or Mom, no, thank you, I'd rather not. So downtown Indianapolis was definitely a challenge because, in Vermont, we have one lane going in one direction through towns and cities, and in Indianapolis, there are 4 lanes going in one direction and 4 lanes going in the opposite direction. And I mean, I associate that with highways and freeways, not in the middle of a city. But the really interesting thing was, and I will post a picture afterwards, while I was sitting at at a light, I looked up at the connecting street signs, and the street running perpendicular to the one that I was on was called Vermont Street. Go figure.
There's a speed trap ahead.
Thank you. My GPS letting me know there's a speed trap ahead. Anyway, I got to where I wanted to be last night. Really nice. Love's Truck Stop. I did post pictures of that. The dogs were excited because they had a dog park. Normally, I don't let my dogs go to dog parks because Bella is very dog aggressive, and I'm always afraid of there being some kind of an altercation, which she would most definitely start regardless of how big the other dog was. But it was, we had it all to ourselves, and they just really enjoyed being able to get out and run for a while. I got the roof nest set up and got everything all set to sleep in there. I tucked Sedona, the parrot, in for the night, and I tucked Casper in for the night, and Bella and I went upstairs to the roof nest, and it was cold last night. And originally, when I checked the weather, it said that the temperature was supposed to drop down to 35, and I'm like, no, that's not bad. That's not that bad. Well, I got up into the roof nest, and I was plenty warm. I was still fully dressed and had wool socks on, and I remembered to put my hat on, so I'm like, we're fine. And I just started to doze off, and I could feel Bella shivering like crazy. And I tried to pull her up, next to me underneath the covers, and she doesn't like being covered up. So she kept shivering and shivering and shivering, and finally I was like, I cannot do this to her. She's going to have a miserable night, and she's an old gal. She's going to be 15 next month. So back down we go and disturb everyone in the car who's already asleep. I put Bella in her car seat, and I thought, it won't be the first time I've slept the night in the driver's seat. But what I forgot was Casper's crate is right behind me, so I wasn't able to recline my seat very much at all before it bumped into his crate. So I spent the night, semi-reclined, but mostly sitting up, and I could still feel Bella shivering because I had my hand over on her back. So I had to wake up like every couple hours and let the car run for about 15 minutes to warm it up and then shut it back off. So not the best night ever. So my sleep was disturbed all night long, so I'm kind of driving tired all day. And then this morning, when it came time to take the roof nest down, I don't know what the issue was or what the problem was, but she just didn't want to come. At least not me all by myself. And, I kept working at it and working at it and working at it, and the dogs and the bird were being really, really good. Just sitting in the car waiting like, Mom, are we going? And then after I had been at it unsuccessfully, I might add, for about 25-30 minutes, this car pulls up alongside me, and this guy gets out. Now, prior to that, a couple, the lady driving, had pulled up and said, "Ma'am, can we give you a hand there?" And I said, "I really appreciate the offer, but I don't normally have any help, so I have to overcome these obstacles by myself." And she said, "Are you sure?" And I said, I am, but thank you very much for asking. I appreciate it. So they left, and still, the struggle continued. And the roof nest was fine. It was me. It was user error, probably because I was tired. I have a little bit of a pulled muscle in one shoulder. Anyway, this other guy pulls up, and he doesn't even, wait to ask if I need help or anything. He pulls up and he says, "Well, little lady, it looks like you could use a little help." And instantly, I was incensed. I was like, "Don't fucking call me little lady. Little lady, it looks like you could use some help." And he gets out of his car and he says, "So what is it we need to be doing here?" So I said, ideally both back end and front end should come down at the same time, but you can't do that when you're doing the takedown by yourself, because you're only one person, and you probably already noticed I'm a really short person. And he said, "Yeah, I could see that from where I was sitting over there." Okay. So anyway, I pulled down the back, he pulled down the front, and 2 minutes it was done. And I thanked him for his help. Hadn't quite forgiven him yet for the little lady comment. So freaking misogynistic, right? And I said, "Well, I really do appreciate your help." And he said, "Oh, no problem." He said, "But do me a favor. If you meet somebody else that has a need today, pay it forward. Buy them a cup of coffee, pick up their restaurant tab, whatever. Just pay it forward." And he said, if you're always paying it forward, your life is always going to be blessed." I was like, "All right, well, that's pretty much how I live anyway, so thank you." And he went his merry way, and I finished buckling things up and securing them, and off we went. So that's pretty much, other than lots of driving, that's pretty much all that's gone on today. I did realize in a conversation with my dear friend last night, I had the dates wrong. I thought yesterday was the 29th. It was only the 28th. So I was really excited because I had originally thought that I would have 2 days of desert camping before I got to my condo in Sedona, Arizona. And because I got the days screwed up in my head, I will actually have four days of desert camping. And I'm super excited about that. So the area of Sedona where my place is, there are lots of BLM lands around there, Bureau of Land Management, and you can just pull off anywhere that there is a what they call a forest road. It's very rough, and find a spot in the desert, and you can camp there legally for up to 2 weeks, free of charge. So I'm super excited about that. It'll be the first time that I'll actually have to set up camp fully to, get the awnings out and on the rooftop and set up the canopy and get my cook table set up. And I'm really looking forward to that time alone in the desert, just me and the 3 critters. Hoping that I remembered to bring both Casper and Bella's booties, because in Arizona, red fire ants are everywhere. They're like, we have the black ants and the little ones, and then the carpenter ants in New England. Well, in Arizona, it's all red fire ants, and they sting like a son of a bitch. I was walking Bella about 2 years ago, and, on a sidewalk, didn't even see it, and all of a sudden she started limping and shaking her paw, and I was like, what the heck? So I stopped and I, looked at her paw, and I couldn't see anything at first, but she was still reacting like something was hurting her. So I spread her toes apart, and there in between her toes were 2 or 3 little fire ants. And so I got a hold of them with my finger and got them on the ground, and I'm not proud to admit that, yes, I stepped on them. I normally would never do something like that, but they were hurting my baby, so I stepped on them. Anyway, we got home, jumped online, started doing some research, and it turns out that to small animals like Bella's size, I can't even imagine, Casper, if they get stung enough times or bitten enough times by fire ants, they can actually have a very toxic response. And everyone's recommendation, online was that I take her to the vet, and I decided to wait it out for a little while. Fortunately, she was fine, but that encounter could have caused anaphylactic shock or could have caused her to have a seizure response. Fortunately, none of that happened. So I'm pretty sure I remember to pack the dog's booties. If I didn't, then I will be off to PetSmart in Sedona to buy some booties for them, because I wouldn't want either of them to experience what Bella experienced a couple of years ago. What time is it now? 4:57. I'm just about to cross into the Central Time Zone, so that's going to screw everything up. I'll actually be gaining an hour, which is good. It'll give me more drive time. But this whole thing with the, changing time zones and stuff, crossing back and forth, it gets very confusing. And as soon as that happens, I won't have anything except my phone that'll have the accurate time. So I'm not going to bother to go ahead and reset my clock on the car every time I cross time zones. Anyway, I met some really nice people, super friendly. Travel has been good. I wish it hadn't dropped down to 29 degrees last night. I would have been fine because I had plenty of clothes on, and wearing my hat to bed made a really big difference until I walked into the ladies' room as a truck stop this morning and pulled my hat off, and I was like, oh my God, holy shit. I was thankful that I was in there alone. But I felt really good this morning. I got in there early, got a chance to get all cleaned up, get a change of clothes, different shirt, and got myself all washed up, put a little bit of makeup on, and I was like, well, alrighty, now I'm ready to face the world again. So anyway, that's it. That's all the news that is news. It's just been a day of driving, and tomorrow will be another day of driving. Yeah, this truck in front of me is swaying back and forth, and that always makes me nervous. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Just outside of Indianapolis, Indiana is where we are, and I haven't decided quite yet where we're going to sleep tonight. So I will talk to everybody later or tomorrow. I hope everybody at home's doing well. Bye.